Welcome to the Stack Pack, powered by Infosys. In this section, we dive into the top 3 insights from the Jeddah E-Prix. Infosys, the digital innovation partner for the Formula E Championship, is a global leader in next-generation digital services and enables enterprises to navigate their next. Now let's jump into our weekly segment and see how these key data points painted a picture of the race. Where are you going to start, Sam?
Oh, we'll start with the winner, shall we? Pascal
Looks like an
Wehrlein's
obvious
ninth.
place to start.
Yeah, his ninth E-Prix victory, and I think you'll struggle to find a more clinical one that Pascal has delivered. He was absolutely excellent in that first race on the Friday. Made some early moves on Max Gunter and Norman Nato. Had really, really good 300 kilowatt pace to get that lead and to get the track position. Pitted at the right time on lap 18 and then took attack straight after on lap 19, coming out in clean air. And clean air is the real phase here, because that was what won Pascal Wehrlein and Porsche this E-Prix. He built up an extraordinary lead, an 8-second lead over his
Almost
pursuers.
unheard of these days.
It very much is, and I think when you're in the last season of a rule set, it's even more impressive because everything is so close. But he really did make hay. That the really telling data points for me and for Wehrlein after the pit stop were his sector 3 times in particular, which includes the really technical temporary chicanes, the 2 chicanes at the end of the lap. That's where he helped win this race. That lap 20 to 23 bracket with sector times that were really just destroying his opponent, smashing in times superior to all of his competitors to forge that gap. But it was that squeaky clean air that Wehrlein really exploited, and that's what won him his ninth E-Prix, I feel. All that was visible on the screens. But what wasn't, and was also a real illustration of a correct strategy over a week one, was the discrepancies of the times of Max Gunter, who led off the line, remember. He was on the front row of the grid. By lap 21, though, Gunter, who'd already taken his attack mode, was in 4th place with nothing left and was susceptible to an attack from Wehrlein, who was pulling away. Look at laps 20 to 23 again. Wehrlein is 2 and 3 seconds a lap faster on his 350 kilowatt power than Gunter is on his 300 kilowatt power, and he's pulling away and making that 8-second gap, not to Gunter because he's fading, but to Jake Dennis in 2nd place. It's where he crushed any hope of even the late attack mode taking cars of Edo Mortara and Mitch Evans were going to come even close to threatening him for the win. So in my mind, that was the sort of area that really defined Wehrlein's win here. But again, even though Gunter wasn't in the race win, what it showed you was if you got it wrong and you went for an attack mode earlier prior to your pit boost, you were really scuppered. It was, I think, in terms of what DS Penske were trying to do, it was that they were too aggressive and it just backfired on them, and they got hugely caught out because Gunter was just fading when those in attack were making him easy prey. This episode is brought to you by Infosys. When enterprises turn to AI, they need more than tools. They need a partner who can scale innovation responsibly. That's where Infosys comes in. From modernizing systems to deploying enterprise-grade AI, Infosys helps businesses lead with confidence. Beyond the boardroom, Infosys is transforming the world of electric racing as the official digital innovation partner of Formula E. Visit Infosys.com to learn more about how Infosys is helping businesses stay ahead of the game.
I've also decided to take a look at the lap times, but this time from the second race, which of course was the maiden Jaguar win for Antonio Felix da Costa. Now obviously, without there being pit boost in this race, there were 2 attack modes, and what Jaguar decided to do with Antonio with 2 lots of 4 minutes was really what the defining moment for him. And you can see that those times when he picked it up on lap 19 and then again on lap 25, he really absolutely made the most of those, almost running them together actually. There was only a couple of laps in between the 2 of them. And they were the solid foundation building blocks on a really comprehensive first win for him. In comparison, those that were doing sort of 2 and 6 and 6 and 2 found themselves sort of out of position or without enough time to actually make that power advantage really work for them. So smart tactical thinking, I think, on behalf of Jaguar there, and something that we're really seeing now. I feel that the deployment of attack mode and the pit boost has really stepped up in terms of its tactical significance this season, Sam. Is that? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so. We saw it a little bit in Miami, and very different conditions, didn't we? But we really highlighted the fact that the way that the car was set up and how they used their systems on their car, all of their software deployment was really assisting the traction out of the corners and making the most of the 350 kilowatt mode. But the funny thing is that the 300 kilowatt mode in the second race was interesting to see where the pace was, because the pace actually started off slow, then went slower and slower, and went to a real trough before it peaked again and everyone went. And actually that was what caught out Citroën Racing and Nick Cassidy, the man who vacated the seat that Antonio Felix da Costa took at Jaguar and sealed his first win in that second race. And this strategy that Citroën had in race 2, which was to leave their attack deployments until later, it felt like it was a real Cassidy kind of race. You felt sort of 11th, 12th position he was going to really spark into life, but it never happened. This was one that they got wrong, and it really upset Cassidy. He wasn't used to strategic malfunction in any way, shape or form, and he doesn't take well to it, especially when he's apparently warned the team as well, and that's what he did. When it was too late, he told the team, "You're not replying to me. I told you 10 laps ago we're in trouble here," meaning let's take expletive attack. So he was pretty fired up, was Nick, at that stage. Look how much time, though, he lost to the winner, Antonio Felix da Costa. Yes, they were in separate races, but it shows that what the clean air could do for lap times here, particularly from lap 18 to 27, where Cassidy hemorrhaged around 11 seconds in total as he was stuck in that midfield and really in just a no man's land compared to da Costa. You look at laps 20 and 21, you're talking 2 seconds. In summary, just look at the way that Cassidy's position was in the race. Look at his race trace here. He just got left behind by the team really electing to leave their attacks so late. So a very rare misstep for Cassidy. They're still finding their way with this new alliance that he's got with Citroën Racing. So I think we can give them one during the season, but for sure they won't be looking at that kind of strategy again.
Any other data that caught your eye, Sam?
Yeah, Sebastian Buemi, who I thought was mightily impressive in race 2 in Jeddah. 19 competitive overtakes, yet only 3 of those in attack mode, showing what I suppose an energetic race that he had in the Envision Jaguar, consuming quite nicely as well in that period to seal that second place. And as you can see, 19 overtakes compared to Di Grassi did 17. Di Grassi's always making them because he's usually towards the back. Oliver Rowland did 17 as well. Antonio Felix da Costa 15. But Buemi's 19 with only those 3 in attack mode really caught my eye. Certainly the most impressive pack race, let's say, that I've seen Buemi done. And I spoke to him afterwards and he concurred with that. And I think it's just evidence again that Buemi could be a dark horse as the season wears on, because he's in fantastic form now, and he's reeling back the years as the elder statesman of Formula E.